Out in the wild, camping is meant to be peaceful crackling fires, starlit skies, and the sound of nature all around you. But sometimes, the quiet woods hide something far more terrifying. Imagine sitting by your tent, thinking you're alone, only to realize you're being watched, and the camera catches it all. These are the moments that make even the bravest campers never return to the forest again. One group of friends set up camp deep in a remote forest. As they laughed around the fire, their camera recorded a pair of glowing eyes just beyond the tree line. At first they thought it was a deer butt, then the shape moved upright, almost human, and disappeared silently into the shadows. The footage still chills everyone who sees it. Another camper woke up in the middle of the night, two strange crunching sounds outside his tent. Thinking it was an animal, he quietly turned on his camera. But what he filmed was worse, a shadowy figure crouching near his gear, going through his things. When he called out, the figure bolted into the woods without a word. One family's trip turned into a nightmare. When they reviewed footage from a camera they had set up near their camp, they expected to see deer or raccoons, but instead found a stranger slowly walking past their tent in the middle of the night, staring directly into the lens. They had never heard a sound while sleeping just feet away. In another disturbing case, two hikers decided to spend the night on a mountainside. Around 3 a.m., their camera caught a strange whistling sound echoing through the darkness. As the sound got closer, an unrecognizable voice whispered something, but when they shined a flashlight, no one was there. The camera kept recording the eerie noises until dawn. A group of college students camping by a river captured one of the most unsettling pieces of footage. Just after midnight, their campfire suddenly went out, as if someone had thrown water on it. In the faint glow of their camera light, they saw muddy footprints leading away from their tents. But the prints were barefoot and much larger than any of theirs. Sometimes the fear isn't what you see, it's what you hear. A solo camper recorded deep, rhythmic breathing just outside his tent walls. Continued for several minutes, circling the tent, but when he unzipped the door to look, there was nothing there. The video ends with the sound of leaves crunching as something walks away. In one viral clip, a camper's GoPro filmed an object swinging from a branch above their tent in the dead of night. It looked like a handmade charm made from sticks and string placed there while they slept. No one in their group admitted to making it. The footage doesn't show anyone approaching, only the charm slowly swaying in the breeze. Even more disturbing was the footage from a pair of campers who vanished. Search teams found their tent and belongings, but the last moments on their camera showed them running through the woods, breathing heavily as something rustled loudly behind them. The camera then fell to the ground, still recording, but no one was in sight. For anyone who thinks camping is safe, as long as you have a tent and a flashlight, these videos are a harsh reminder. The wild holds secrets, and sometimes those secrets are watching you.
One late-night camper in the mountains captured something that still puzzles experts. His camera, left recording outside, showed a pale figure moving strangely between the trees. Its movements were jerky, almost unnatural, and it never seemed to make a sound even when stepping over branches. By the time the camper checked the footage in the morning, there were no footprints to be found. In another unsettling clip, a couple camping near a lake noticed small splashes in the water at night. Thinking it was fish, they ignored it until they saw the ripples form in perfect circles, as if someone was throwing stones toward their camp from the darkness. When they shined a light across the lake, two shapes quickly ducked behind the reeds. One man's dashcam-style camping setup caught a chilling moment while he slept in his truck. At 2:17 a.m., a hand pressed against the window, fingers slowly dragging down the glass. The man never woke up, and by morning, no one was around. The prints were smeared, almost as if the skin was damped. A group of friends hiking through dense forests decided to film their night trek back to camp. The camera's light caught something between the trees, a tall figure, unmoving, staring directly at them. The friends called out, but it didn't react. When they approached, it was gone, leaving only a foul, metallic smell in the air. One solo traveler in the desert set up a tripod to record the starry night. At first, the video is peaceful until faint chanting starts in the distance. The voice grows louder, circling the tent. The traveler's breathing quickens in the footage, and then the sound stops completely, as if whoever it was had vanished into thin air. Perhaps the most bizarre camping encounter was caught when two brothers heard strange laughter in the woods. The sound wasn't childlike or adult, it was something in between. They stayed in their tent, recording the noise as it moved around them, sometimes close, sometimes far. In the morning, they found small piles of stones stacked in a circle outside their camp. One viral wilderness video shows a camper waking up to find all of his gear rearranged. His food was stacked neatly in a pyramid, his sleeping bag rolled up, and his flashlight was left turned on, pointing directly at his face. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, and no explanation. A chilling forest clip begins with a group roasting marshmallows. Laughter fills the air until a loud snap echoes from the trees. The camera swings toward the sound, catching a dark silhouette that moves impossibly fast between two tree trunks. No one could agree on whether it was human or animal. In one case, a camera accidentally left running captured what sounds like deep, slow footsteps approaching a tent. Then, there's a sudden metallic clang, and the sound of something heavy being dragged away. The campers had no idea anything happened until they reviewed the footage the next day. Even stranger is the clip of a couple camping in a meadow. As they film the sunrise, a shadow passes across the grass, but nothing in the frame is casting it. The shadow moves toward them, grows larger, and then disappears. The couple insists there was no one else 4 miles. One unsettling video shows a man camping in a snowy forest. During the night, his camera recorded faint knocking sounds on nearby trees, slow and deliberate. The knocking moved from one side of the camp to the other, as if circling him. In the morning, he found fresh claw marks on the bark too high for any normal animal. In another eerie case, a group camping in the mountains heard what sounded like a woman calling for help. They grabbed their camera and flashlights, following the voice into the dark. But the calls kept moving further away, always just out of reach, until they suddenly stopped. The next morning, they realized the voice had been leading them toward a steep cliff. One man, camping alone by a river, set up a night vision camera for fun. When he reviewed it, he saw something crawling on all fours toward his tent, stopping just a few meters away before quickly backing into the darkness. Its shape was human, but its movements were unnervingly unnatural. A couple's peaceful night was interrupted when their camera picked up whispering voices just outside their tent. The whispers weren't in any language they recognized and seemed to come from multiple directions. Every time they turned on a light, the whispers stopped only to start again, as soon as the light went out. Perhaps one of the most disturbing moments was caught when a camper heard what sounded like heavy breathing behind him while recording his campfire. He spun around, but no one was there. Later, when rewatching the footage, he noticed 2 glowing eyes watching from the shadows behind a tree. Another viral clip shows a tent shaking violently in the middle of the night, as if something or someone was trying to pull it down. The campers inside shouted, but whatever was outside didn't make a sound. The shaking stopped suddenly, and in the morning, there were deep drag marks in the dirt leading away from the site. In one haunting video, a camper exploring the woods at dawn found dozens of strange symbols carved into tree trunks around his camp. None of them had been there the night before, and some looked freshly cut. His camera shows him leaving the site in a hurry, breathing heavily as the forest falls eerily silent. A group of campers, filming their late-night cooking session, caught something bizarre shadow that didn't belong to anyone in the group. It stood still for several seconds before slowly bending forward and vanishing. Everyone in the video froze, and no one spoke for the rest of the recording. One desert camping trip turned terrifying when a man's thermal camera detected a heat signature moving just outside his tent. It circled twice, stopped, and then crawled low to the ground before disappearing into the dunes. The man insists there was no wind and no animals in the area. The final clip is perhaps the most chilling. A camper left his camera outside to film the stars. But in the middle of the night, a figure walked slowly toward the lens, face completely obscured. It stopped just inches away, breathing heavily, before reaching out and covering the camera with its hand. The video ends in total darkness.